The soft glow of the bedside lamp often illuminated Clara's face as she read, her brow furrowed in concentration, lost in some philosophical text about purpose or destiny. I'd watch her, nestled beside me, a profound sense of contentment settling over me. We'd built a comfortable life together, a cozy apartment filled with shared laughter, quiet evenings, and the unspoken promise of a future stretching out before us. I was deeply in love, and I believed in her, in us, without reservation. My role, I felt, was to be her rock, her unwavering support, always ready to help her achieve her personal aspirations, no matter how grand or abstract they seemed. We'd had vague conversations about her feeling a little stifled by our predictable routine, a subtle yearning for something more. She spoke of a creative fire that needed rekindling, a need for a deeper fulfillment beyond her demanding, but ultimately uninspiring, corporate job. I listened, always understanding, always supportive. My own career was stable, fulfilling enough for me, and I was eager to see Clara shine, to help her find that elusive spark she so desperately sought. It's a peculiar kind of love, isn't it, that prioritizes another's dreams so completely that your own seem to fade into the background? You convince yourself that their happiness is your happiness, that their fulfillment will somehow complete you. You pour your energy, your resources, your very essence into their journey, believing that your selfless devotion will be reciprocated, that your efforts will somehow bind you closer. And in that quiet sacrifice, you plant the seeds of an unspoken expectation, a silent promise of tomorrow. Then came the conversation that changed everything. We were having dinner, a quiet evening at our favorite Italian place, when she gently put down her fork. "Ben," she began, her voice soft, laced with a vulnerability that instantly put me on edge. I need to make a change. A big one. I need time to find myself." My heart lurched. "Find yourself?" I repeated, the words feeling foreign, unsettling. "What do you mean, Clara? Are you unhappy with us?" She quickly shook her head, reaching across the table to squeeze my hand. "No. Oh, Ben, never with you. You're wonderful. It's just me. I feel like I'm stuck. I'm not growing. I need to break free from this routine, this expectation. I need to go somewhere new. To really discover who I am, what I'm meant to do." She spoke of a desire to pursue her passion for photography, to immerse herself in nature, perhaps even move to a remote artist community she'd researched in Oregon. It was beautiful, poetic, and utterly terrifying. My initial hurt and confusion were profound, a cold knot tightening in my stomach. The idea of her leaving, of finding herself without me, felt like a betrayal of our shared life. But my love for her, my unwavering belief in her potential, soon overshadowed my apprehension. If this was what she needed, if this was her path to true happiness, then I would help her. My selflessness, perhaps, was also my greatest flaw, that agonizing dilemma, isn't it? The clash between your desperate need for stability and your profound desire for their happiness. You're told that love means letting go, allowing them space to grow, even if that growth takes them away from you. You cling to the romantic ideal of selfless devotion, burying your own fears and insecurities beneath a facade of unwavering support, hoping that your sacrifice will somehow prove your love, ensuring their eventual return. Driven by my deep love and desire for her happiness, I made a commitment. A significant sacrifice. We drained our shared savings, the nest egg we'd meticulously built for our future, to cover her first year of living expenses in Oregon. I took on extra freelance work, picking up late-night shifts, deferring my own small ambitions, all to ensure she had the financial freedom she needed. I even spent weeks researching affordable studios, quaint cabins near national parks, trying to find the perfect place for her self-discovery. I did all this with a quiet pride, expecting no immediate reward, only her eventual happiness and, crucially, her return to our shared future. Clara embarked on her new journey with an almost terrifying enthusiasm, her face radiant with a newfound energy. She spoke excitedly about the endless possibilities, the creative freedom, the promise of finally becoming the person she was meant to be. Our goodbyes at the airport were tearful, filled with promises of daily calls, weekly video chats, and visits every few months. "This isn't goodbye, Ben," she'd whispered, clutching my hand. "It's just a pause. For me to find myself. And then I'll come back, a better, stronger us." I clung to those words, the silent promise of a stronger us anchoring me amidst the profound loneliness of her departure. The first days of absence after a profound sacrifice are a strange mix of hope and profound emptiness. You walk through familiar rooms, encountering ghosts of shared laughter, quiet comfort, and unspoken promises. Every interaction, every memory, is colored by the knowledge that you've pushed your loved one towards an uncertain future, hoping your unwavering support will bring them back, a better, more fulfilled version of themselves. But the silence that fills the space they left behind is deafening, amplifying your loneliness. The initial separation was challenging, but manageable. Our daily calls were consistent at first, filled with her excited stories about Oregon, the breathtaking landscapes, the new artists she'd met. She sounded happier, lighter, and that eased the ache in my chest. I worked tirelessly, channeling my loneliness into extra shifts, trying to keep our financial situation afloat, always envisioning the day she'd return, renewed and ready for our next chapter. I sent her care packages, filled with her favorite snacks, a new lens for her camera, little reminders of my unwavering support. Then, the first subtle tremor. A shift. Her calls became less frequent, her responses to my messages a little shorter, a little more perfunctory. The depth of our conversations seemed to lessen, focusing solely on her new experiences, her personal growth, with little mention of me or our shared future. I tried to bridge the distance, asking about our plans, about when she thought she might visit. Her answers were vague, non-committal, always accompanied by a new reason why she was too busy or too immersed in her journey. One day, while scrolling through social media, a casual picture caught my eye. It was posted by one of her new artist friends in Oregon. Clara was in the foreground, laughing, her arm around someone I didn't recognize. A man. His face was obscured, but his posture, his relaxed stance beside her, hinted at a comfort, an ease that sent a prickle of unease down my spine. The caption was innocent enough, late-night creative session with the best team. But the image, the immediate familiarity in their pose, left me with a gnawing, unsettling feeling about her new life. A life that seemed far more independent and exclusive than I had anticipated, leaving me with a cold, hollow ache about our future together. The picture, innocent enough on the surface, Clara laughing, her arm around a man I didn't recognize in her new artist community, sent a cold prickle of unease down my spine. The caption, late-night creative session with the best team, seemed harmless, yet the immediate familiarity in their pose, the way her body leaned into his, hinted at a comfort, an ease that left a hollow ache in my chest. This new life she was building seemed far more independent and exclusive than I had anticipated, leaving me with a gnawing anxiety about our future together. There's a unique dread that descends upon you when the first cracks appear in the illusion of your partner's unwavering commitment. It's not about grand betrayals, but the subtle shifts, the unspoken distances that whisper promises of a future without you. You grasp for reassurance, for logic, but all you find are ambiguous signals that amplify your deepest fears, eroding the very foundation of your trust. My initial patience began to fray, replaced by a growing anxiety. Clara's calls became less frequent, her updates more perfunctory. Her enthusiasm, once boundless and shared, now felt directed solely at her new experiences and personal growth, with little mention of me or our shared future. My efforts to bridge the distance, my questions about when she might visit, were met with subtle resistance or vague promises. So much happening here, Ben. I'm just so immersed. Or, I'm making so much progress, I can't break my flow right now. The warmth, the intimacy that once defined our daily conversations, slowly faded, replaced by a polite, distant formality that chilled me to the bone. I'd sent her thoughtful care packages, filled with her favorite local coffee beans, a book I thought she'd love, or a new photography lens. She'd thank me, of course, with a quick text, but the enthusiasm felt muted, almost obligatory. The sacrifices I was making, the extra work, the drained savings, my own deferred ambitions, felt increasingly unreciprocated, taken for granted. The loneliness in our apartment became a constant, heavy presence, amplifying the silence that now stretched between us. It's an agonizing tightrope walk, isn't it, trying to maintain connection with someone who is subtly pulling away? You pour your energy into bridging the distance, into reassuring yourself that their silence is just a phase of their growth. But every unanswered call, every vague response, every unreciprocated gesture, slices away at your hope, exposing the raw truth that their journey of self-discovery might be leading them irrevocably away from you. Overwhelmed by my mounting fears, I finally confided in David, my loyal friend. We met at his apartment, the familiar comfort of his living room a small solace against the turmoil in my heart. As I recounted the growing distance, Clara's elusive answers, and the unsettling photo, David listened patiently, his brow furrowed with concern. He was always perceptive, and his usual pragmatic nature immediately noticed the glaring red flags. Ben, he began, his voice gentle but firm, I don't want to tell you what you don't want to hear. But this isn't just finding herself. This sounds like she's finding a whole new life. And that photo, that guy. It looks like more than just a creative team. He saw the flicker of pain in my eyes. She's taking advantage of your selflessness, Ben. You gave her everything she needed to walk away. His words, though brutal, resonated with a chilling truth that echoed my own suppressed fears. David, with his tech savvy, offered to do some discreet digging. Reluctantly, my heart aching with a mixture of desperate hope and profound dread, I gave him the name of the man in the photo, Leo, Clara's new, creative partner. Within hours, David had found more. Leo's social media was public, filled with photos and updates about his burgeoning art collective in Oregon. And Clara was in almost all of them. Laughing, collaborating, thriving with a vibrant intimacy that pierced my soul. She looked genuinely happy, fulfilled, completely unburdened by the life she'd left behind, by the sacrifices I was still making. There's a unique agony in discovering the truth about a loved one's betrayal through a digital lens. You see the vibrant life they're building, the new connections they're forging, and realize with a sickening thud that you are fundamentally excluded from this new reality. Every shared laugh, every intimate pose, amplifies the distance between you, leaving you to grapple with the painful understanding that their happiness is being found in your absence. The photos confirmed David's fears, and my own deepest anxieties. Leo wasn't just a creative partner, his posts hinted at a deep, personal connection, a shared vision that seemed to bind him and Clara in a way I hadn't seen in years. One caption, in particular, burned itself into my mind: finding my truest self, with the only person who truly sees it. It was from Clara's own profile, a response to one of Leo's posts, and it shattered any lingering hope that her self-discovery was a temporary journey back to me. The pain was immense, a crushing weight that left me gasping for air. The sacrifices, the loneliness, the unwavering support, it all felt like a cruel joke. I had poured my entire being into helping her find herself, only for her to find herself with someone else. The betrayal wasn't about infidelity in the traditional sense, not yet, but it was an emotional abandonment, a profound redefinition of our shared future without a single word of warning or explanation. A desperate, primal need for answers, for confirmation, consumed me. I had to see it. I had to understand. I booked the earliest flight to Oregon, a spontaneous, agonizing decision fueled by a raw blend of heartbreak and a desperate need for closure. I didn't tell Clara I was coming. I couldn't. I just needed to see her new life, with my own eyes, to understand if there was anything left of the us I clung to so desperately. The flight was a blur, my mind replaying every memory, every sacrifice, every vague promise. As the plane descended, the lush green landscape of Oregon, once a symbol of her newfound freedom, now felt like a terrifying, unknown territory. I took a taxi directly to the address David had found for Leo's art collective. It was a rustic, beautiful place, nestled amidst towering trees, vibrant with creative energy. My heart hammered against my ribs as I stepped out of the taxi. I saw them immediately. Clara and Leo. They were outside, painting a mural on the side of the building. Laughing easily, their bodies moving in a synchronized rhythm that spoke of a deep, effortless connection. Clara's hair was wild, her face smudged with paint, a look of profound peace and joy on her features I hadn't seen in years. Leo reached out, wiping a smudge of paint from her cheek, their eyes meeting in a shared, intimate moment. It was a scene of undeniable closeness, of a life being built, vibrantly, openly, without any thought for the one she had left behind. The sight of Clara, vibrant and laughing, her arm casually intertwined with Leo's, painting a mural on the side of their art collective building, tore through me like a physical blow. The effortless intimacy, the shared joy on her face, it was a devastating confirmation that her journey to find herself had, in fact, led her to find a whole new life, one in which I had no place. My spontaneous visit, fueled by a desperate hope for connection, had instead delivered the brutal clarity of an unspoken goodbye. There's a unique agony in witnessing the tangible proof of betrayal, especially when it's not malicious, but simply the stark reality of being left behind. You see the vibrant life they're building, the new connections they're forging, and realize with a sickening thud that you are fundamentally excluded from this new reality. Every shared laugh, every intimate pose, amplifies the distance between you, leaving you to grapple with the painful understanding that their happiness is being found profoundly in your absence. I stood there, hidden by a cluster of trees, watching them for what felt like an eternity. The vibrant colors of their mural, the easy rhythm of their collaboration, the simple joy on Clara's face, it was a brutal mockery of the monochrome existence I had endured back home, holding onto a promise that had clearly faded for her long ago. The sacrifices I had made, the savings I had drained, the extra shifts I had pulled, all to enable this very moment, now felt like a cruel joke played solely on me. My heart ached with a pain far deeper than anger. It was the crushing weight of unreciprocated effort, of a love that had poured itself out without anything in return. I didn't confront them. I couldn't. What was there to say? The scene before me spoke volumes, a narrative of emotional abandonment. Far more articulate than any words I could utter. There was no rage, no accusation. Just a profound, aching realization that the finding herself journey she had embarked upon, the one I had so selflessly funded, had led her to a place where I no longer fit. My role had been to help her start over, and in doing so, I had inadvertently helped her start over without me. The unspoken goodbye can be the most devastating. There are no arguments, no desperate pleas, no final words exchanged. Just a quiet, agonizing realization that the other person has simply moved on, leaving you to bear the profound weight of their absence and the silent confirmation of their emotional departure. You are left with a ghost, haunting a future that will never materialize. I walked away from Leo's art collective, leaving the vibrant scene behind, every step heavy with the weight of my crushed hope. The plane ride home was a blur of unshed tears and hollow despair. Our apartment, once a haven of shared dreams, now felt like a mausoleum, amplifying the silence that screamed of her permanent absence. The pause she had promised, the better, stronger us she had envisioned, was a lie. A beautiful, comforting lie I had desperately clung to, even as she built a new world. The days that followed were a testament to the raw, suffocating grief of emotional abandonment. I moved through my routine like a ghost, the tasks mundane, meaningless. The loneliness was profound, a physical ache that gnawed at me constantly. I replayed every memory, every conversation, searching for the moment I missed the sign, the moment she truly began to drift away. Had I been too complacent? Too supportive? Had my selflessness inadvertently stifled her, pushing her away instead of drawing her closer? The self-blame that follows such a profound emotional abandonment can be corrosive. You question every action, every decision, desperately searching for the flaw within yourself that might have driven them away. You take on the burden of their choices, trying to find a reason, a justification, that makes sense of the senseless pain. But ultimately, you realize that their path, however selfish, was their own, and your responsibility lies in choosing your own direction now. I confided in David, my loyal friend. His apartment became my sanctuary, his quiet presence a balm to my raw nerves. I poured out the agonizing truth, Clara's desire to find herself, my sacrifice, the unsettling photo, the devastating trip to Oregon, and the unspoken goodbye. David listened, his face grim, his empathy palpable. Ben, he said, his voice gentle but firm, she used you. She might not see it that way, but she did. You poured yourself out, you gave her the freedom she needed, and she took it and built a life that had no place for you. It's not about blame, it's about facts. And the fact is, she left you. She chose her found self over the us you thought you were building. His words, though brutal, resonated with a chilling truth. My selflessness had been both a gift and a profound miscalculation. I had helped her start over, pouring my resources, my heart, and my own deferred dreams into her future. And she had taken that opportunity, not to return, but to start over alone, leaving me stranded in the wreckage of a life I had put on hold for her. The depth of my unacknowledged contribution, the magnitude of my sacrifice now casually dismissed by her profound emotional distance, crushed me. The pain wasn't just heartbreak, it was the sting of profound ingratitude, of being rendered invisible by the very person I had helped to shine. My entire being ached with the weight of it all. The true cost of unreciprocated sacrifice is immeasurable. You pour your heart and soul into another, expecting nothing but their happiness, perhaps their return. But when they take your gift and simply walk away, leaving you to face the emptiness you created for their sake, the wound is deep, profound, and utterly bewildering. You help them find themselves, only to realize that their journey of self-discovery meant losing you completely. My future, once so clear, was now a blank canvas, my purpose, once tied to her return, utterly lost. The apartment felt suffocating, filled with the ghosts of dreams that would never materialize. I knew, with a painful clarity, that I could not remain here, surrounded by reminders of a life that was no longer mine. The path ahead for me was now profoundly different, utterly alone, leaving the relationship, and my immense sacrifice, in the past. It was time to leave, to truly start over, not for her, but for myself. The silence of my apartment pressed in around me, amplifying the raw grief and confusion that gnawed at my soul. I was back home, but home no longer felt like a sanctuary. It was just a space filled with the ghosts of shared laughter and shattered dreams. My spontaneous trip to Oregon had ended not in a joyous reunion, but in the brutal clarity of an unspoken goodbye. I had poured my heart, my savings, my very self into helping Clara find herself, only for her to find a vibrant new life, with someone else, completely unburdened by the one she'd left behind. There's a profound emptiness that follows the realization your selfless sacrifice was unreciprocated, even casually dismissed. You grapple with not just the pain of loss, but the insidious poison of being taken for granted. The dreams you deferred, the efforts you poured out, they feel like a cruel joke, a testament to your own misplaced loyalty. And in that hollow space, you're forced to confront the wreckage of a life you put on hold for someone else. The first few weeks were a blur of profound loneliness. I moved through my routine like a ghost, the tasks mundane, meaningless. Every object in our apartment seemed to mock my solitude, whispering memories of a future that would never materialize. I questioned everything, my judgment, my self-worth, the very essence of my love. Had I been too naive? Too enabling? Had my unwavering support inadvertently stifled her, pushing her away instead of drawing her closer? The self-blame was a heavy, suffocating blanket. David, my loyal friend, became my lifeline. His apartment became my sanctuary, his quiet presence a balm to my raw nerves. I poured out the agonizing truth, Clara's desire to find herself, my sacrifice, the unsettling photo, the devastating trip to Oregon, and the unspoken goodbye. David listened, his face grim, his empathy palpable. He validated my feelings, acknowledging the deep ache of my unreciprocated efforts. Ben, he said, his voice gentle but firm, she used you. She might not see it that way, but she did. You poured yourself out, you gave her the freedom she needed, and she took it and built a life that had no place for you. It's not about blame, it's about facts. And the fact is, she left you. She chose her found self over the us you thought you were building. His words, though brutal, resonated with a chilling truth that echoed my own suppressed fears. My selflessness had been both a gift and a profound miscalculation. The true cost of unreciprocated sacrifice is immeasurable. You pour your heart and soul into another, expecting nothing but their happiness, perhaps their return. But when they take your gift and simply walk away, leaving you to face the emptiness you created for their sake, the wound is deep, profound, and utterly bewildering. You help them find themselves, only to realize that their journey of self-discovery meant losing you completely. The financial freedom gained from no longer supporting Clara allowed me to breathe, ironically, even as my heart ached. I began the arduous process of rebuilding my own life. I addressed the personal sacrifices I'd made, dusting off my own deferred dreams. My old art studio, once a forgotten corner of our apartment, became a sanctuary, filled with the scent of oil paint and the quiet satisfaction of creation. I immersed myself in my painting, channeling my grief, my confusion, my anger onto canvas. Each stroke was an act of self-reclamation, a defiant assertion of my own existence. I reconnected with old friends, seeking solace in genuine connections built on mutual respect. I started running again, the rhythmic pounding of my feet on the pavement a therapeutic release for the pent-up emotions. Slowly, painstakingly, a new rhythm began to emerge, a different kind of peace that was entirely my own, unburdened by Clara's elusive presence or the weight of her unspoken absence. I found strength in my authenticity, in the difficult choice I'd made to walk away from a future that no longer included me. Months passed. My life, once stagnant, began to flow with a renewed purpose. I was building something new, something purely for myself. The ache for Clara remained, a faint scar on my heart, but it no longer consumed me. I heard snippets about her through mutual acquaintances. She was thriving in Oregon, her art collective was gaining traction, her relationship with Leo seemed to be deepening. The news, though it stung, also confirmed that her path truly lay elsewhere, allowing me to finally let go of the phantom hope I'd unknowingly clung to. Then, just as I began to find a new rhythm and sense of self, my phone buzzed. It was a text message from Clara. My heart gave a strange, cold lurch. I hadn't heard from her in months, not since that painful, silent departure from Oregon. My fingers trembled as I opened the message, bracing myself for another request, another demand. On my emotional resources, the message was short, devoid of apology, and chillingly self-serving. It spoke of a new chapter for her collective, a major exhibit she was curating, and a casual mention that Leo was now her manager and partner in everything. There was no inquiry about me, no acknowledgement of my past sacrifice, no sign of true remorse. Just a brief update, filled with her continued success, and a final, casual request for a testimonial from me about how instrumental my early support was for her career. The phrase, delivered with such apparent ease, felt like a final, deliberate insult. My years of pouring myself out, reduced to a testimonial. The true nature of self-centeredness is often revealed in the casual disregard for another's feelings, especially after profound sacrifice. Their successes, their new relationships, their very happiness, are presented without thought for the pain they inflicted. And in that final, blatant lack of empathy, you recognize that some relationships are irrevocably burned, and the only path to peace is definitive silence. I stared at the message, a cold fury rising within me, quickly followed by a profound, clarifying stillness. This wasn't a plea for reconciliation. It was another calculated request, still viewing me as a resource, a means to an end. It was the ultimate, undeniable confirmation that she was truly lost to the depths of her own self-absorption. The text message from Clara, a casual update about her thriving art collective and a request for a testimonial on my instrumental support, pulsated on my phone screen. It was a final, chilling confirmation that she viewed me as nothing more than a resource, a means to an end. My years of pouring myself out, my significant sacrifices, were reduced to a mere phrase for her self-promotional needs. This wasn't a plea for reconciliation. It was a blatant display of her continued self-absorption. There's a unique clarity that washes over you when someone's actions definitively prove their lack of empathy. Their casual disregard for your feelings, especially after profound sacrifice, speaks volumes. In that moment, you realize that some relationships are irrevocably burned, not by anger, but by a chilling indifference. And the only path to peace is definitive silence. I stared at the message, a cold fury rising within me, quickly followed by a profound, clarifying stillness. This wasn't a plea for reconnection. It was another calculated request, still viewing me as a stepping stone, a tool to further her own narrative. The phrase, instrumental support, felt like the ultimate insult, minimizing years of my life into a mere footnote in her triumphant story. I knew, with absolute certainty, that I could not, would not, respond. My decision was final, unyielding. I deleted the message, then blocked her number, severing the last lingering tie to a past that had nearly consumed me. This wasn't an act of cruelty, but a profound commitment to my own well-being. I wasn't engaging in a final, dramatic confrontation. I was choosing definitive silence, recognizing that no further words were needed. She had made her choices, and now, I was making mine. For me, the ultimate act of self-preservation is often to sever ties with those who systematically diminish your worth. It's not an act of vengeance, but a profound commitment to your own well-being. You recognize that some battles are not meant to be won through argument, but through dignified withdrawal. And in that decisive departure, you reclaim your power, your peace, and your authentic self, stepping fully into a future where your worth is non-negotiable. Clara continued on her path of self-discovery, seemingly oblivious to the wake of unacknowledged pain she left behind. Her art collective thrived, gaining public recognition. Yet, indirectly, I heard subtle whispers that her relationships were often superficial, fleeting, lacking the deep, reciprocal connections that truly sustain a person. Her relentless pursuit of self-fulfillment, unburdened by empathy, seemed to leave a trail of unfulfilled expectations and unspoken disappointments for those around her. Her initial triumphs, perhaps, masked a deeper, continuous emptiness. My own life, meanwhile, blossomed with a profound sense of purpose. My woodworking business, initially a small, tentative venture, grew steadily. Each piece of custom furniture I crafted was a testament to my own hard work, my own vision, and my unwavering commitment to authenticity. The workshop, once a corner of my garage, became a sanctuary, filled with the scent of sawdust and the quiet satisfaction of creation. It was a stark contrast to the hollow ambition I had witnessed in Clara's world. I surrounded myself with genuine connections, friendships built on mutual respect and shared values. I rediscovered old hobbies, finding solace in long runs and the methodical process of learning new skills. My past, once a source of deep pain due to Clara's casual dismissal, was now simply a part of my story, a testament to my resilience and strength. My experiences had forged a new kind of self-worth within me, one that was unbreakable because it came from within, not from external validation. True healing isn't about forgetting the pain, but about transforming it into purpose. It's about recognizing that the very experiences that once felt like burdens can become the bedrock of your greatest strengths. You don't erase the past, you integrate it, allowing it to inform your present and shape a future built on authenticity, self-respect, and meaningful connection. And in that profound act of self-reclamation, you discover a peace that no external judgment can ever shatter. Clara said she wanted time to find herself, and I helped her start over. In doing so, I found the courage to start over, truly alone. But for myself, and in the light. My sacrifice, once a source of immense pain, became the crucible for my profound personal growth and independence. I built a life defined by my own terms, filled with genuine connections, and imbued with a hard-earned, undeniable peace. My worth was no longer dependent on someone else's acknowledgement, it was a truth I carried within me, unwavering and whole.